Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi there, it's Michelle Martin Dobbins from DailyAlchemy.com, where we teach you how to create magic from the mundane. All those ordinary little moments and things that you do in your day can be transformed as a spiritual practice. And today I'm going to talk about some special times that we spend in our year and how to transform those into a spiritual practice. And the funny thing is, those are times that are usually meant to be a spiritual practice unless you celebrate holidays as more of a cultural thing, which a lot of people do in this country. They're not necessarily religious, but they still celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or, I hope I say this right, Diwali, the Festival of Lights, Ramadan. There's so many religious holidays that come about in this like November, December, January range, especially December. And I find that I hear a lot of people feel down at this time of year, and I've had that happen to myself in the past. And so I wanted to give you some tips, some holiday alchemy tips to kind of transform any holiday that you might celebrate. So it doesn't matter what your religious tradition is or what your holiday is that you're celebrating. I mean, it does. It does. It definitely does to you. But what I'm saying is you can add alchemy and transformative spiritual practices to any of those. And some of those you may not need to. You may already have that feeling. But sometimes we take actions in order to create a feeling, and it doesn't always work. So there are a few things that we can do to help those actions actually translate into the feelings that we want to feel. Because holidays are all about connection, spiritual connection, or family connection, or connection to yourself. And sometimes we go through the motions and we do these things and we don't get the feeling. We may decorate or cook food and go to get-togethers, and they don't give us the fulfillment that we would expect for them. And sometimes it's our expectations of how, we have these pictures of a perfect celebration, and just doesn't usually go that way. So I set some intentions and I try to make them really workable intentions. So I'm going to cover 3 areas. One is food, one is decorating, one is get-togethers, and the last is service. So let's start with food, because every celebration usually involves food. And there are special foods that lots of religions and cultures and traditions have. And those foods can evoke a certain meaning, and it's lots of fun, but it can be not fun if you're the one doing all the cooking and you don't enjoy it. And, it can be not fun if you're trying to not eat certain things and you feel a pressure to. So my advice on how to kind of transform food around the holidays, one is to only eat what you love. And 2 is to only cook what you love, right? And you might be saying, I can't do that. I have to feed all these people. There are lots and lots of places where you can get food made. If you're having a get-together, you can have everybody bring a dish. If you are going to somewhere and you feel like you're expected to eat, and maybe you have a special diet, you don't want to eat gluten, you can't eat gluten, or you can't eat certain things, or you follow a vegetarian or a vegan diet, just bring your own food and just be really nice and polite about it, and just, kind of put it off as a health thing. It doesn't have to take the fun away from your celebration. Just choose the special foods. And the other way that I add alchemy into my food celebrating there are actually 3 ways. One is if I'm cooking something, I'm going to be adding energy through intention. Usually I use Reiki, but you don't have to use Reiki. You can just picture yourself adding love into the food that you're cooking, adding light, any kind of adding holiday spirit to that. Put your emotions, your good and happy emotions, into the food that you're cooking for yourself or other people's to celebrate this holiday. Another thing that you can do is just charge your own food before you eat it. If someone else has made it or you're eating it, you don't have to do this in a way that other people will necessarily notice. You can just kind of look at it with your eyes, visualize Reiki symbols, or visualize the word love or holiday words written on the food before you eat it. Another thing that I like to do with food is to actually eat it as almost a form of prayer or of worship. And you don't have to have the same kind of thoughts about this that I do. It can be done in a lot of different ways. In fact, there are some different traditions that use eating as a form of prayer. For me, I look at it this way, and that is, I'm a pretty big believer that the divine is in all of us, and that the divine just desires expansion and experiences. So when we're fully immersed in our lives and we're mindful and we're enjoying and savoring life, I feel like that's a gift to God, a gift to the divine, because the divine gets to experience life through us. And, if that doesn't roll with you, you can definitely do this in different ways. And I'll try to post a link to a couple of things. I've been doing some research on this because it's just interesting to me, because this practice has been something that I'm working on as part of really being aware of what I eat and taking care of my body. And so you can do this any time of year, but when you're having a special meal, it's especially nice to do. And so what I do is I normally do a little blessing of my food or charge it with energy. But then when I'm eating it really slowly and mindfully and just tasting it, chewing it really well. And as I'm doing that, I'm just kind of thinking as that's a gift to God, that God has given me this gift, or the divine has given me this gift of this food. And so I give back the gift of enjoying it and experiencing it. And kind of like that's a way that the divine gets to experience this food too, through me. Not saying that I am a God, but just saying that the divine is in all of us. And I kind of follow that belief system, that part of the reason that we're here is to experience and expand life. So I've gone probably way deeper on that in the food process than I needed to. But that's just a little practice I do. So as far as the food alchemy, you can charge what you eat, you can charge what you cook, and you can just really, really savor and experience those foods. And nobody else has to know that you're doing any of these things. You don't have to be obvious about it. It just can be an internal intention. As far as decorating, I go for the same thing. Like, put out decorations that you love. I know some people who have like 10 Christmas trees in their house and they love it, love it, love it, love it. And it's so much fun for them. And they do a ton of decorating. I myself like to have a few meaningful decorations, and that's enough. And my kids, I will allow them to put out as much stuff and do it how they want, because it doesn't matter to me. I don't need my house to look like a Martha Stewart magazine. I just need it to have joyful, connected people living there. So I'm not going to get in a crazy frenzy over how it's decorated, just the energy of the decorations. So if there's an inner decoration that doesn't make me smile, it goes out. It gets given away to where it can find a home where someone will love it. I don't feel the need to keep every single Christmas decoration or every single holiday decoration that I've ever been given or that I've ever had. I just work with ones that make me feel joyful or make my kids feel joyful because they're they're part of this family. And so like if they like the ugly, tacky snow globe that I might think is ugly and tacky, but it brings them joy, then I'm delighted, because that's to me what the holiday decorations are about, is bringing joy. So that's how I choose them, whether or not they bring joy. And of course, I always go back to adding Reiki or love or energy to them, positive thoughts to the decorations. Thank them for being there as I'm putting them out. It's all inner intentions. If you're putting out these decorations and you're doing it with love and you're sending love into them and they're kind of beaming love out back into your environment, then you've got what you want. But if it's a stress and it's trying to get it perfect, then the energy is not there. It's just kind of like Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving and grateful. You can make a list of things that you are grateful for, but if you don't really feel grateful, it doesn't help you. It doesn't serve you. And the same thing with holiday decorations. And you may say the holiday decorations are not there to serve you, but guess what? They are. That's why we decorate. We decorate to create a feeling. If your decorations for your holiday do not create that feeling, then don't do it. Find a different way to create that feeling, or a different way to decorate to create that feeling. That's the juice that we get from holidays. These special experiences are creating a sense of fulfillment and connectedness. So if it doesn't create that feeling in you to put up a string of lights, but you enjoy the lights, go somewhere else and go through a place where they have lights. Here in our city, there's 3 or 4 within like a 30, 40-minute drive of places where they put up beautiful lights. You pay $5, you drive through. That might be your bliss. Your bliss might also be hanging 10,000 lights. That's where you want to go. Don't do what you think you should do. Do what brings you joy and fulfillment and connection. Get-togethers. I know that sometimes we feel like we need to go to every party during holiday season, but pick and choose, especially if you're an empathic person, especially if you're an introverted person. You don't have to go to everybody's party. I know that there are some family get-togethers that just need to happen, and other ones you can set a time frame, and you can also set an intention, like what are you going in there for? If you're going in there to make connections, to have joy, go in and set those intentions. And I don't know necessarily what those intentions will be for you. You might just go into a family gathering holding the space so no argument, that it doesn't get too out of hand. I was going to say no arguments occur, but in some families that might be too much to ask. But just that you're holding the space, you're going to be the peaceful person. You're going to send out Reiki, or going to send out love to everybody that's in that room. You can invite in angels. You can invite in spirits, like the spirit of Christmas. You can invite in Christmas angels. You can invite in the angels of connection and peace and harmony, and visualize that. And, some people will feel like those angels are real. And even if you don't, you can still visualize that energy of those emotions that you want to experience from a family get-together or holiday party. And that said, it's, no is a sentence, right? A complete sentence, a complete answer. And you don't have to explain to somebody why you can't come to their party, and you don't have to feel bad or guilty. Choose the ones that will bring you joy, or the ones that, like I said, if there are family get-togethers that you really feel that you need to do, just go in there with the intention of what you're going to experience. And you may also set an intention that, you're going to leave at a certain time, or when maybe certain people have had a certain level of alcohol, it's time to vamos. Set those intentions for you so you can get the maximum joy out of the get-together. And lastly, I want to talk about the area of service. I think that service is a great way to get feelings of fulfillment. And, there's just no downside to service unless you do too much in service that doesn't feel good to you. Because there are so many ways to be of service. You can be of service by donating your time. You can be of service by donating your money. You can be of service by donating your talents. You can be of service by calling up a friend that you know struggles this time of year. Or you can be of service by going on kiva.org and making a loan to someone across the world and helping them start a business. You can be of service by helping out in your local soup kitchen. There's so many ways. And sometimes we get caught up in the pomp and the circumstance of different holiday celebrations, and we just feel stressed. And the funny thing is, if you cut out a party or a get-together or making some dish that you don't like to cook and you go and serve in a way that feels good to you. I'm not like, if going to a soup kitchen sounds like torture to you, don't do that. Do something else that feels good to you. But it's just such a huge part of having a fulfilled life. There's definitely two parts to it. One, you have to, and I'm saying you have to, and you get to choose how to live your life. And I pick and choose from what I say, because my ideas may not work for me. But if you like something I say, then that's awesome. If you don't, then just skip that part and move on. Pick and choose. You get to pick and choose from things that I say, from the different other people say. But when it comes to holidays, or really any other time of the year, you focus on what brings you joy and focus on bringing joy to others. Doing both of those things is wonderful. And they don't have to be separate, right? You can do things that bring you joy and things that bring others joy. And, it's kind of like that Venn diagram. You put the circle of all the things that bring you joy and the circle of things that bring others joy. And where they overlap, they're in that center. That's your sweet spot. That's where you get the most bang for your buck at the holiday season, because maybe cooking a turkey does not bring you joy, but it brings your family joy. Well, can you get someone else to cook the turkey? Can you buy a pre-cooked turkey and everybody still have the same amount of joy? But maybe sharing holiday cookies with people brings you joy and brings them joy. So you're going to cook cookies, but you're not going to cook turkey. Maybe giving a donation brings you joy, but working at the soup kitchen doesn't. So you do that. You follow those things where it overlaps, and that's going to give you the most satisfaction, the most transformation of your holiday. Marie Kondo is an author of the book, The Magical Art of Tidying Up, which I love. She has another one out, and I can't remember the name, and I haven't read it yet. But, and it's a cleaning and organizing book, but I find I'm a big believer in asking really good questions. And how she teaches people to clean out their house is you pick up the item and you ask, does this bring me joy? And if it doesn't, it's on the way out. It gets to go somewhere else where it gets to bring somebody else joy. And I find that is very transformative, not only for cleaning our house, but for designing our life. Because if things don't bring you joy and you can't find a way to put joy in them, then they need to not be a part of your life. And that definitely is a big factor in holiday celebrations. If cooking doesn't bring you joy, then find a way to do less of it or none of it if you can pull that off. Same with decorating, same with get-togethers, same with all aspects of holidays and of your life in general. Find a way that you can be joyful and enjoy the holiday in a way that works for you. So I would love to hear your tips and the ways that you celebrate and the way that you transform your celebrations and the way that you change them up to add more fulfillment and meaning to them. As you can see, for me, a lot of it is just this discernment, setting these intentions and adding energy and love to everything that I do holiday-wise. All right, so go out and create some magic today, and I will see you next time. Namaste and big hugs. Would you like some help creating more magic in your life? I've got a ton of freebies and goodies for you. They're all tucked away inside my magical freebie vault. You can get free access, though. You just have to go to www.dailyalchemy.com/magical-freebie-vault. Again, that's dailyalchemy.com/magical-freebie-vault. And when you get there, you can just plug in your name and email and you will get instant access to all kinds of goodies. There are daily and weekly manifesting planners, the How to Shift Your Vibe in 5 Minutes e-kit that has audios and a workbook. There are moon manifesting planners and daily love lists and money trackers and all kinds of goodies right there. I didn't want to make you have to go to a bunch of different pages and sites and wait for certain freebies to come out. So I just took all of my freebies and put them in one place where you could just sign up one time and download any of them that you want at any time that you needed. So you can just head on over to dailyalchemy.com/magical-freebie-vault and download them today. Have a magical day.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.